Renaud Castel, Rubicon's Chief Operating Officer, is here to discuss the transformative power of Rubicon technology to provide sustainable, efficient, and effective solutions in trash and recycling management. And joining Renaud is Hanne Dalmut, Concordia's Senior Director of Partnership Development. Hanne, over to you.
Thanks so much, Kevin. And you stole one of my lines because I really wanted to open up this panel by celebrating Rubicon as our sustainability partner and the amazing commitment they made for in the environment with our annual summit. I'm excited to say that they're doing the same with the Africa initiative. So when I think about how we were intending to gather in Kigali for this particular conversation, and in recognizing the leadership that Rwanda has demonstrated as a government for environmental conservation efforts, it brings me such joy to be in this particular conversation with Renaud, knowing that they're making such positive commitments to the environment as well. But those commitments can only be made when a business is as successful as an entity like Renaud or like Rubicon. And a lot of that success is owed to not only their great CEO, Nate Morris, but also to Renaud's vision. So I'm excited to be learning from him today. So Renaud, if you could, let's start off on a strong point. Share with us a bit about what Rubicon is and its mission to end waste, as well as your work at the company as it pertains to its revolutionary approach.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm really happy to be able to speak to all of you, and thank you, Concordia, for being a great partner, and we really appreciate all you do. So Rubicon is a tech company. Think of it as a digital platform, and on one hand of the platform you have our customers who generate waste, all sorts of customers, the small pizzeria across the street, or the big box retailers, the Starbuckses of the world, and then and the governments also, municipal contracts, cities, and then on the other hand we have a network of companies who will collect that waste. So that network is made of about 7,000 haulers that we work with. And as a company, our mission is to end waste. So it's a big, ambitious goal, and we're not going to fix it overnight. But we think that with our platform, we bring transparency, we bring visibility around what is really a very opaque industry, where you don't have a clue really what are the waste streams. So with the Rubicon platform, because we put the customers and the trash collectors on the same digital platform, we're able to see where the waste is generated, who picks it up, how much of it goes into a landfill, how much of it is recycled, etc. So that's in a nutshell what we do. And my focus as the COO is to digitize as much as I can and to expand and deploy our technology beyond the platform. It's also technology that can go inside vehicles. And so I'm working at expanding this around the world.
Renaud, you've taken a concept of waste management, and through the artful use of digitization and innovation and words like Uber of trash, you've managed to make this topic, dare I say, even sexy. It's just, who would have thought that there was so much potential from the waste management space? So let's talk about how you actually do that. How does Rubicon utilize technology and software to address the challenges in the waste management system and work alongside operators? And what are the opportunities that you're seeing when it comes to operational efficiency in the waste industry?
Well, I would say opportunities are everywhere. It's amazing. There's trash everywhere, and it's a big topic. It needs to be addressed. It can't. It's been, I would say, centuries that the main solution has been to bury in the ground the trash.
That's been very linear. So it's
exactly, very linear. I mean, we've improved a little bit. Instead of having carriages and horses, we now have trucks. Okay, great. But have we really thought of this as an industry that we can disrupt and that we can change, and we can bring that visibility I was talking about earlier? You asked in your question about opportunities for efficiency. I like to give this example. Beyond the platform we've developed, we've also developed some technology that goes inside the vehicles that pick up that waste. And so one of the things we created, our CTO created, is an algorithm that uses a camera to scan the road, and we can identify automatically bins on the side of the road. So we can say, okay, this is a bin. But we can also recognize the color of the bin. So if it's blue, maybe it's for glass. If it's green, we know it's for waste. And if it's purple, maybe it's for cardboard. So we can recognize the type of bins. But we can also see how to which degree the hatch of the bin is open. Is it 45 degrees? Is it 40 degrees? Is it closed? Because if it's half open, that tells us that trash is overflowing. So think of it as on a city scale. If you're able to pinpoint on a monthly basis who are those residents that have trash overflowing, and nobody likes trash overflowing. It's, rodents will come, the smell, you want a closed bin, right? So if you can identify this is an opportunity to say, okay, now we can maybe have bigger bins, or we can pick up that trash not once, but twice a week. So that's just a quick example I'm giving you of how our technology can help bring some efficiencies in how trash is collected and what are the waste streams.
And I think that's a great example, because although Rubicon primarily partners with larger corporations or governments, the efficiencies are actually benefiting the taxpayer, right? They're going back to the citizen so that there can be better service delivery, better compacts between the government and its constituents. And I think that that's so important. A growing theme throughout Concordia's programming has been around the importance of a digital transformation of the government. And it strikes me that Rubicon is really kind of the embodiment of that, an example of how when a government digitizes its efforts and its work in pursuit of the SDGs, this is just a great example of how it better serves its people. So let's talk a little bit about how we've mentioned the benefits for the taxpayers, but what about the companies themselves? How does digital transformation help the companies you're working with?
Well, unlike any of our competitors, we bring that visibility on that platform. So when I describe this platform, you've got the hauler that has access to that platform, you have the customer that has access to the platform, you have the government we can give an access. So they all access the same platform, but they have a different portal that's really customized for them. So what the company is going to look for is going to be slightly different from what the municipality is looking for, or the hauler. A quick example, the hauler, they're going to want to know, are they picking up on time? Are their drivers safe? So all this information, we capture it because of the technology inside the vehicles. And so we're going to help them be more efficient, right? If you are the customer, you're going to want to track those waste streams. You're going to want to know, how much of this was waste, how much of it was recycling, where did it go? Companies more and more they don't want to forget about their waste once they dump it. They want to know, okay, where is it going? How much of it is recycled? Because their customers, their shareholders are going to hold them accountable. And, they don't want to see their trash with their name on it, in the ocean. So more and more companies, they expect that they can have a provider that's going to give them this visibility. And we can do this on their platform. So their chief sustainability officer can generate reports about their carbon footprint impact, about how much waste was diverted. They can start setting goals for themselves. And that's, I like to say, look, if you want to set some goals, you got to know where you stand first.
You've got to be able to measure it.
Exactly. And that's what we can do. And that's what they like. So that's the companies. But then you have the cities are looking for different metrics. I could go on and on.
Definitely. And I think one other important piece is, yes, that transparency in the reporting of where these materials are going, but also so that the companies can start to think through how they might repurpose some of that and work through their supply chain, again, looking at some of those goals they might be setting. Absolutely. So one kind of flip side to the transparency of this, whenever I watch any of my spy movies, which I watch a lot of, they're always digging through people's trash to figure out kind of who that person is. So trash tells a story. It says a lot. How do you work or connect with people who are more hesitant about the type of transparency and data collection that you're exhibiting through your technology? And what's your response when people have a kind of a big brother concern around this?
Well, look, I think it's a legitimate concern. If you're going to have cameras, scanning roads, because think of it as when we work with these haulers or these municipalities, we look at their truck and we say, look, you have a truck that picks up waste and recycling, but it could pick up data as well. Think of it as
about the quality of the roads.
Mobile data collection center that's roaming the streets and that can pick up data around the road condition, data around graffitis on buildings, data around curbside condition. So all this information is information that can be collected. So we take this very seriously. We've developed within our technology, especially as we were deploying in Europe, we address these concerns. So for instance, I will give you the example of the bins that we can recognize automatically. Well, we have our algorithm will blur everything around the bin because we teach it, okay, we're not interested in faces, we're not interested in license plates, we just want bins, or we just want potholes, or we just want graffitis. Whatever we teach the algorithm to pick up, it'll pick up, and at the source, as it picks it up, it'll calculate everything around to blur it, and only the information we want to save is then sent to the cloud, so that we're not storing any information that is not for us to look into. So that's a way to address the concern of people who talk about privacy, and we respect that a lot, obviously. Yeah. So I think that's one way to make people feel safer.
And I know a number of African countries are working through data privacy regulation at the moment. So it's definitely something, as you think through and wearing your global expansion hat, that you'll want to kind of constantly be proactive on. So in thinking about the future of Rubicon and its global footprint, what conditions or readiness requirements should a market have when you consider going into it? What do you look for in a partner, whether it's a government entity or a private client? What are your must-haves, and how does that kind of mesh with today's Africa initiative conversation?
I would say willpower. I mean, we're in a good place.
I was expecting like an infrastructure conversation, but okay.
No, I mean, it starts with, what do you want to do? Because we have the luxury of kind of deciding who we want to work with. There's a lot of companies, governments that want to work with us. So we're going to cherry pick the ones that share the same values, that really want to end waste. And so if you share our values, we'll definitely want to work with you because we think we'll be more successful together. So if you're gonna have, if you can back that up with legislation, look, I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. A lot of emerging markets are not leading those efforts, but I strongly believe that they can be the leaders. They can make giant leaps with the technology. So you look at Europe, they're very ahead they about waste streams and visibility around waste and how much of it is reused and the circular economy, and lots of emerging countries, not all, but many are behind. But with the technology, they can make those giant leaps I was just talking about.
They don't have to have that same timeline.
Exactly. So if they have the will, if they have the legislation to back it up, and if they can, and if they have a sense of urgency, and you'd be amazed. I mean, I've had some conversations with some governments. I mean, I was amazed at how quick and reactive they are. Now, I am French, so obviously my French background, I'm used to a lot of red tape when dealing with government. But I've seen some of these countries that are, able to go really, really fast. And so I think there's great opportunities right there.
Certainly. And I think that is, just a great landing point for today's conversation and the mission of Concordia when it thinks about public-private partnerships and establishing stronger cross-sector collaboration. That's what fuels that urgency or creates that pathway through bureaucracies for a more efficient outcome that delivers not only positive economic and government rewards, but also sustainability and impact.
And I will add one more thing before we close this, is that this creates jobs. So that's why also we get a lot of attention.
Okay,
Is because those collectors who are going to pick up that waste, they're gonna be fed with a lot of work because there's going to be a lot to pick up. And so, a lot of countries come to us and discuss this because they see that impact that we're having on employment as well.
So there you have it, waste management. It's no longer just about trash. It's about digital connectivity, platforms, new partnerships, and job creation. So thank you so much, Renaud de Castel, Chief Operating Officer of Rubicon. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you. And we hope to have the opportunity to have a conversation like this in Rwanda at our next juncture.
Thank you so much, Hanne. Really appreciate our time.